Welcome to Impact Signals, Social Impact at the Scale of AI. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Sarah.
It's Tuesday, July 28, 2026, episode 86. Today, disaster AI splits into three distinct stories. SoftBank and Tohoku University open a sovereign-built disaster science lab aimed at Japan's Nankai Trough earthquake risk. Chinese authorities open a real crackdown on AI-faked flood videos that's already disrupting actual flood response. And a U.S. commentary pushes federal agencies to copy an AI coordination platform already running in the Solomon Islands. We start in Japan, where SoftBank and Tohoku University's Disaster Science Institute, IRIDeS, the International Research Institute of Disaster Science, just announced a new sovereign-built AI lab opening August 1st, aimed squarely at the Nankai Trough earthquake threat.
What makes this significant is the sovereignty constraint. The lab builds and hosts its models domestically instead of on overseas cloud platforms, because disaster and infrastructure data is treated as too sensitive to hand outside Japan.
The first proof of concept begins in fiscal 2026. A simulation of a Nankai Trough megaquake in Hyuga City, Miyazaki Prefecture, pairing generative AI trained on lessons from the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake with a digital twin of the region's terrain and infrastructure. Telecom Paper and Japan Times both confirmed the plan this week.
The hard part is not the modeling, it's the compound risk. The lab is explicitly built to predict quake, tsunami, and infrastructure failure together, as three linked risks, not as three separate forecasts, because that's how a Nankai Trough rupture actually plays out for coastal Japan.
Miyazaki Prefecture is one of the regions Japanese seismologists have flagged for decades as facing a high-probability, high-casualty rupture. And the long-term goal is a shared disaster prevention platform that national and local governments and private companies can all draw on.
Disaster risk practitioners working other seismic zones, the Pacific Northwest, Chile, Indonesia, Nepal, should watch this fiscal 2026 pilot as the reference case for what a funded, sovereign-hosted digital twin simulation looks like, before adapting the model to their own risk zone. That's the design principle worth copying.
Moving to China, where authorities just opened a real crackdown on AI-fake disaster videos, launching a campaign called Clean Up the Internet, rectifying the abuse of AI technology and opening at least 20 investigations into AI-generated disaster misinformation.
What makes this significant is timing. It's landing in the middle of an active flood season, right as Typhoon Nowell's aftermath is straining Guangdong's response capacity. And the same generative tools that can warn people faster can also flood the same channels with convincing fake footage, exactly when accurate information matters most.
China Daily reports one documented case. A 45-year-old man in Chengdu used an AI tool to fabricate a video claiming heavy rain caused a ground collapse in Quancheng County. Posted to WeChat to farm engagement, it triggered real local panic and police say disrupted actual flood prevention work.
The constraint is verification speed. The first hours after a disaster are when the information vacuum is largest, and that's exactly when fake footage outruns verified reporting. The fix is procedural. Build a rapid verification step into your disaster response comms plan now, before the next event, not after one already spread.
Second signal. A federal news network commentary this week is urging U.S. federal agencies, as a matter of policy, to copy an AI disaster coordination platform that UNESCO already deployed in the Solomon Islands.
What makes this significant is the transfer pattern, not the U.S. policy argument. The platform, called IRIDeS, was built for Japan's high-capacity infrastructure, then rebuilt as a lighter, purpose-built deployment for a resource-constrained small island state.
IRIDeS was built by a Japanese public-private consortium, SAP Japan and Inspiration Plus, based at Oita University, and uses SAP's business AI tools to fuse real-time meteorological data with historical records for early warning and evacuation decisions. UNESCO selected it for the Solomon Islands under its Disaster Prevention Strengthening Program, with operations starting this year.
For humanitarian logisticians in resource-constrained settings, that's the template worth studying. A scaled-down, purpose-built version of a rich country coordination tool, not a wait for the full-scale version to trickle down. That's the replicability case.
On the disaster watch, a magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck 5 kilometers east of Udo in Japan's Kumamoto region today, part of an active sequence the U.S. Geological Survey (USGS) is monitoring for aftershocks and tsunami advisories. The Global Disaster Alert and Coordination System (GDAX) issued orange alerts for twin magnitude 5.7 and 5.8 earthquakes near Ula-Xiuma in China, covering roughly 6,000 and 2,000 people respectively in the strongest shaking zones. Pakistan's monsoon flooding has now passed 100 confirmed deaths nationwide, with more heavy rain forecast. Typhoon Now's aftermath continues in Guangdong, where China's national emergency response stays activated for a wind zone that covered nearly 12 million people. And a magnitude 6 earthquake struck 82 kilometers west of Sola, Vanuatu, with no major damage reported.
The link to today's lead story is direct. The Yudo and Kumamoto sequence sits in the same seismic family Tohoku's new lab is built to simulate. Today's monitoring becomes tomorrow's training data.
On the calendar, the AI for All Hackathon 2026 focused on inclusive early warning and disaster resilience solutions has applications open now through an August 5th deadline. Organized by the African Youth Advisory Board on Disaster Risk Reduction and the African Union, with the EU and PARIPRI co-sponsoring.
The African Union and EU co-sponsorship is the detail worth noting. This track is built for teams working humanitarian early warning tools specifically, not a generic AI hackathon. If you've got a working prototype, August 5th is the date to hit.
Funding Watch, Action Against Hunger's grant for a new humanitarian perspective is open to photographers and multimedia creators working on humanitarian themes. This round focused on food systems and nutrition. €5,000 plus an exhibition of the winning work, deadline August 31st.
The eligibility catch is narrow. This is a photography and multimedia award, not a program grant, so it fits a specific kind of applicant. If that's you, August 31st is firm.
So the through line today, disaster AI is splitting into three fronts at once. A sovereign-built simulation lab in Japan, a real accountability fight over faked disaster footage in China, and a coordination platform moving from a rich country to a small island state.
3 things worth tracking. Watch the Nankai Trough pilot for what a funded digital twin looks like. Build a verification step into your comms plan before fake footage hits your feed. And treat Sun's Solomon Islands deployment, not the Japan version, as the template for resource-constrained settings.
That's Impact Signals for Tuesday, July 28, 2026. If this briefing is useful, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out at impactsignals.ai and share it with someone working in the field.
Stay ready.